Hey everyone, so this is The Circle Season 6, Episodes 3 and 4. So after the bomb was dropped that there is an AI in the game, um, they start speculating about who the bot could be. Lauren thinks Caress/Paul, while Caress/Paul thinks it's Steffi, and he plots to get her out. Um, I don't know. This seems a little bit too personal for me because Caress/Paul seems to be doing it. I don't know. It just seems very personal. I don't know why. Um, what it, it seems like she is very hurt for some reason. I don't know. That's what I'm saying is like it feels personal because it doesn't seem like it doesn't feel. I mean, because the other people are like curious about who it could be and are they have their suspicions about who it could be, but it doesn't seem like they're going that hard on one specific person. So that's why it feels very personal as to why Paul is going after Steffi. And it feels like Steffi can. It seems like Steffi can feel that because later in the I don't remember if it was like I think it was in episode 4, but in one of the episodes she basically was getting all emotional because it seemed to me like she felt like it was personal and it was getting to her. So I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like. So Max then has a private chat with Lauren, um, and it seems like Max is echoing exactly what Cress and Paul said, and it seems very weird. I wouldn't put it past like the production team to have fed Max this, and so it's not really AI. If that's the case, it's not really AI playing by itself. It's someone behind it. So yeah, I don't know. It just seemed weird. Um, Paul starts a private chat with Kyle. Now Kyle thinks Steffi could be AI. Um, and Paul is suspicious of Kyle because he isn't sharing much about himself. Kyle, asks a question that would trip up Paul because he's supposedly from LA, and and Kyle has gone to LA numerous times to meet family and stuff like that. And uh, if according to Kyle, if you go to one specific beach as a single male, um, then you're real. But if you go to another type of beach, then or another specific beach, and it's like you're not real. I mean, I get the logic. It's just, I mean, it's just paranoia everywhere. Um, so the answer that Paul gives isn't really satisfactory, so he ends the chat. Miles opens up a private chat with QT. They make an alliance, Team Fuego. Uh, let's see. I get the idea of forming an alliance and sort of you know um, forming an alliance and really just kind of flirting, but to kind of make it to the end. But I don't know. I mean, it feels like if you have to rely on that, then to help build alliances, then I don't. That seems like it seems very weak gameplay to me, but maybe I'm just weird, but um, they eventually share that they are each part of either an exclusive boys alliance or a girls alliance. So, and they'll, I guess, tell each other information and all that. So yeah, they then all get an alert saying they must rank the player they think is most human, to least human, and the player who is voted most human will block the player they believe is the least human. So they play a couple of games in between that time. One in this episode and one in the next episode. So this first game is called I'm Only Human, where the circle will ask three identical questions that it thinks only humans can answer. The first is, can you tell a joke? Pretty much almost everyone seems to tell a joke that people find funny in some way, except for Steffi, who says knock knock, who's there? Britney Spears, who? Knock knock, oops, I did it again. And Paul is seriously not liking that one. Like I said, this whole thing is feeling like it's a very, like, this whole I need to get you out is very personal. Like, what in the world did Steffi say or do? Like, it can't be just because she talks about astrological signs. I mean, that is her thing. That is literally what her job description is psychic medium, or something like that. And it's like that. You, why would you not think that bringing in astrological signs is not going to be something that they do? So that's why it feels very personal. Like, what about it is that, what about astrological signs that you just absolutely freaking hate somebody bringing up? Because I mean, Miles said in like episode 1 or 2 or whatever that he isn't that big of a fan of astrological signs, but he's not coming this damn hard at Steffi, and it's weird. It's very weird. So there has to be some like footage on the cutting room floor that we missed, that where Steffi said something to Paul, and we just never saw it, because this feels way too personal to be, well, I just like I just think that she is an AI bot. It just feels way too personal for my liking, and it's annoying me at this point, because it's like there's always that one person that goes way too hard on somebody else, and it's like it always feels personal, like I almost always in stuff like this. Okay, so then they have an empathy test. I didn't write down what the empathy test was. What the question was for the empathy test, but I should have, but I forgot to. But I do remember the critical thinking test though. They the critical thinking test was they had a picture of like a guy in a on an airplane, and there was a girl sitting behind him kicking his seat. And so the question was, what would you do to help resolve the situation? I'm trying to remember who. There was somebody that it was just it seemed weird, like their answer was weird. I just don't remember because I forgot to write it down, because I was like, by this point I was sleepy, so I was trying to take as good of notes as I could, but I was sleepy. I had a long day yesterday by the time I started watching this, so I was like, ugh. Oh, I think it was Max, because after the game, Olivia, Brandon, and Caress Paul now suspect Max, and I think it was because in the AI, in the, or not the AI, but the critical thinking question, he had said something. I guess he had said something that was like weird, or it was either the empathy test or the critical thinking test, either one. But some Kyle then opens a private chat with Miles, figure out if he thinks Miles is the AI or not. So both thinking Caress, Paul, or Steffi are the AI. Lauren then jumps into a private chat with QT. They wonder about Paul and Steffi. And Lauren, um, where one of them decides to bring in Paul to the chat. Um, but before that, they're kind of wondering, or Lauren is kind of wondering if she is off the mark with trusting Steffi. And so that's why they kind of bring in Paul, I guess. And then Paul is, basically saying the same thing, generic and inconsistent, about why he doesn't trust Steffi. Lauren reveals to Paul that she has had her suspicions about Paul and says that she might be wrong about him, but after the chat, she is still very suspicious about Paul. Yeah, okay. Um, Later that night, they rank their the people from most human to least human. Um, After the rating, Steffi talks to privately to Miles. And I was thinking, like, girl, it's a little bit too late to try to start um, making alliances now. You should have been doing that because she would. This is where I will criticize Steffi, is because, like, she, when she first came in, she started the whole thing with she had her entrance with like a group chat, doing yoga. And so it's like, why didn't we start talking? I mean, other than Lauren and maybe Olivia, they she didn't really try to connect with anybody else that we saw. So you you should have been doing all this, talking with people other than Olivia and Lauren long before this, because you knew at some point there's going to be an actual rating where, like, I mean, where you could possibly leave. So I don't really get why you're waiting until now, to try to um, talk with somebody, um, because it's like now they already done freaking voted. So what? There's nothing they really can do at this point. So why exactly is it that you're waiting until now? That makes no sense to me. That is like probably the worst game part of gameplay that you could do, is to wait until absolutely the last possible second to do that. Um, so Miles tries to ask why she thinks Paul's a catfish, because she thinks Paul's one. Um, but she really doesn't give a really good answer, because she feels like if she explains it, she's going to give away her gameplay. It's like, well, I mean, there's really not much you can do now, because at this point, they don't even know who the most human player is yet. So it's like, at this point, it doesn't really hurt to really give an actual reason why, because I mean, the vote's already done. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Either way, Miles doesn't believe it. So Cassie then talks to Lauren. Lauren brings up Paul again and explains why. Cassie brings up Steffi. Um, so I don't remember what exactly how they ended, but that's basically it. Paul talks with Max. Max throws Steffi under the bus too, and Paul cosigns basically. Into episode 4, we find out the top rated player is Miles. QT talks with Miles privately to bring his spirits up. And he says that while Steffi is suspicious, so is Paul. Um, the next morning, the players have uh, a couple, like, two more times to sort of really um, show Miles that they are actually human. One is picking another photo and posting it in like a group chat um, to show that you're really alive. Like you're really human and all that. And I think there was something like that shows that you're alive or something. I don't know, some bullshit like that. Anyway, basically QT doesn't allow Kyle's photos because this is a second photo of him where he's like off in the distance, and it's not really a close up photo because of his profile picture was I guess not that close up. It looked close up to me, but I could be wrong. But essentially, the second photo was definitely far away, and it's not really looking like the photo that he was actually initially gonna pick was he thought that he saw his wedding ring in his photo, and of course he's playing as single, so you don't want to be doing all that, because then you know that you're lying. Then they know that you're lying. Now, whether that means you're a catfish or AI, it's anybody's guess, but you know. So that was good on him. I mean, because even if cause I didn't necessarily see it, but I wasn't looking close up at the photo, so I couldn't tell. I mean, but he thought he saw it, so it's better to err on the side of caution than to actually post it and people actually see it and then think that he's either AI or catfishing. So, Steffi doesn't, Miles doesn't buy Max's photo because he's not really smiling. He has his sunglasses on, and he was like, the cows look more alive than you do in the photo. So, um, Steffi doesn't buy Paul's. Paul doesn't buy Steffi's. Obviously, no shocker there. And so, um, Steffi then talks with privately with Olivia, who helps bring her spirits up and all that. Um, Olivia talks privately with Miles, and while they're trying to, like Olivia's trying to get Miles to sort of save, not sort of, but save Steffi. And while they talk, Lauren wants to try to privately chat with Miles, so he brings her in with his chat with Olivia, and so she expresses her doubts concerning Steffi, but stays true to it. In the end, then it goes to the last game, You Robot. They almost tell Miles who they think the player that they think is the AI. Most people say it's Steffi. I can't remember if one or two people think it's Paul or Kyle, but either way, most people think it's Steffi, Paul, or Kyle. Um, Kyle talks privately to QT and gets reassurance about the jab she made about him. Because I think she made a jab at him in. Oh yeah, it was during the photo thing, and so because she said something like, "You always seem to want to show your six pack abs" or something like that, or maybe that was Olivia. Either way, and then Max chats privately with Miles about his AI suspicions. Miles brings decides to bring Paul into sort of um, feel him out. Miles asks Paul if Paul is AI or not because he has made some weird comments. Paul's answer doesn't really give Miles any hope that he isn't AI, and then Max just he's mute during all this bullshit, so he's just like he just fucking ups and dips at the end of the conversation without any sort of help. So towards Paul, so it's like what the hell? It was just yeah, it was all the way around weird. I don't know how, like, after that, I don't know how anybody doesn't, how, or at least those two don't suspect Max at that point, because I mean, the way he just up and left. I mean, this is why I said like last video that they really they must they these people must be doing a good job with this AI bot or something, because it's just how these people have don't suspect Max at all. Because I think Olivia kind of voiced a little something earlier in in episode 3 or 4, and then I think somebody else, but they all seem to actually focus on um, they all seem to focus on an actual human, whether catfishing or they're playing their real selves. They sort of latch onto a human rather than the actual AI. So I mean, they this I'm still kind of a mixed bag of feelings with the whole AI bot. Because on the one hand, I like it because he's obviously snowing all these people, but um, I just on the other hand, I'm like, I feel like this could go this whole bot thing could go on way too long, and it's gonna get. I mean, it already feels kind of ugly because um, Paul really does not like Steffi, and I feel like that was a perfect excuse to not really like her. Because before that, I don't. Before the whole reveal at the end of episode 2, they didn't. I don't think Paul was really feeling Steffi like that, and it was just something about. I don't know if it was just something about her specifically. I mean, because like I said, the whole astrological stuff doesn't really make that much sense to me, because it. I mean, maybe there's something in Caressa's past where someone tried to bring up astrological signs, and that really kind of messed with her or something, and that's why she doesn't really like someone bringing up astrological signs. Because otherwise, this whole latching on to Steffi thing because of astrological signs doesn't really make sense to me. It it just seems so weird, and it just it I this whole thing doesn't. This whole AI bot thing is just like it, it, it has the potential to really get nasty, or nastier than it already seems to be to me. So I'm like, can we just kind of wrap this up expeditiously, please? Because this is just so weird, and I'm starting to get a little bit over it at this point. So I don't know. Well, and because we ended with um, Miles being asked to finally pick who he thinks is the least human, and him going up to the door of the person he thinks is the least human and knocking on it, but we didn't see who he picked. And it looked like there it looked like there was um like everyone was in there, and I think I remember seeing Lauren say, "Well, there's still an AI bot in here, so obviously it's not fucking Max." So I mean, at this point, I don't even know who it could be, like who it was. I mean, I'm sort of thinking it's Steffi at this point, because I I didn't really see much of her. I saw a little bit of her in the previews, but I didn't see much of her. Um, and then it could be Paul, because I don't really remember seeing all of much of Paul, but I feel like there was a game that showed. No, wait, because there's a game that I think that was shown where they had to make a portrait of somebody. Um, and I think Paul was in it. I think so. Could he either be Paul, or I mean, could he be either be Steffi, or it could be Kyle? Maybe. No, Kyle was also in it. Never mind. I don't know. So it could be Steffi because I don't think I saw her in the game things. I think I saw everyone else but her. So, or that clip of Lauren saying, "Well, there's still an AI bot in here." Um, that could be a misdirection or something. I don't know. I mean, and Max really is out. But I don't know. So it's a toss up. So either it's Steffi, or it's the whole the bot stolen is a misdirection. I don't know. We'll see. But that was basically um, episodes 3 and 4. Um, I know I might have to tap out on this one too, like I did last season. Like, cause like I said, I stopped around episode 8, and so we will see how this turns out. Cause I just don't want this whole AI bot thing to be um, going on much longer. Um, I, I don't know. 'Cause I guess I'm more on the side of not really liking it. So, but we'll see. Uh, bye guys.